Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Seaweed Brain, a Percy Jackson podcast, except maybe not, because today is the day for us to dive back into the Kane Chronicles. It's episode 1 of The Throne of Fire. We have a Brooklyn museum to get to, a scroll to steal, various new children to put into peril. Stick around.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The empty seat. Who was actually just that? An empty chair in your office because you couldn't find someone to fill it. So it just sat there costing you money with all its fancy ergonomic features. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can make it easy to fill that seat with the right candidate. With nearly 60% of businesses finding someone to interview in the first week alone. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are...
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream team. And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working it.
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Woohoo! Welcome back to Literacy. It's Seaweed Brain Podcast reads a book for the first time in like a year. I'm Erica, joined as always by my co-host Carter, who reads. How's it going, Carter?
I read when forced to, and thrilled to be forced to.
Woohoo! We are also joined by the trustworthy, ever-present, withstanding against all odds. The horrors persist, but so do they. It's Robert Gamer. What's up, Robert?
Hello! Oh god. We were talking just before we started recording, and for some reason, I feel like the last time I was on was several years ago. No, it was like 5 months ago.
Robert was like, thank you so much for including me in your Kane Chronicles coverage. This is going to be like a really special return to Percy Jackson for me. And I was like, wait, you were just here. Like it was literally January. But anyway, everybody applaud Robert, formerly known as the Damn Meme Page, currently a member of the Pit Crew and the Puck Crew podcast to talk about the TV show The Pit and also Heated Rivalry. We're going to have some probably like rotating third chairs. So you'll be seeing our Throne of Fire guests probably more than once over this like 6-episode run we're doing. So we appreciate you being here, Robert. Thank you for coming back to the Kane Chronicles. It really is so great to be literate again. Before we get started, we're going to thank our patrons because we haven't done that in also 5 months. Our sustaining patrons, James, Izzy, Ellen, my mother, Jennifer, Natasha, and Sabrina. Thank you so much for your support. And I'm just going to read a huge list of names for people who have joined our podcast over the last 5 months. Several of these people have also probably quit our Patreon in those 5 months, but your contribution matters no matter how long you are with us. So here we go. Lou, Brianne, Madison, Amanda, Jaden, Alina, Megan, Rebecca, Magdalena, Natalia, Andrea, BDK, Alex, Diana, Sophia, Lone, Hugo, Anna, Holly, Priscilla, Azura, Eloise, Rylan, Nicole L, SC, Roshni, Brittany R, Leora, Kira, Anna Banana, Catherine, Mecca, Lucy, Lainey F, Nicholas, Bella R, Claudia, Emily, Zoe, Jules, Lay, Tamia, Susanna, Patricia, T. Roy Jenkins, Venus, Sophia D, and The Damn Bookworm. Thank you. If you're still a patron, thank you for being a patron at any point in time during our show coverage. We really appreciate it.
I do recognize a couple of those names because they are prominent members of the server. The server you get to join if you join the Patreon. We're doing book club.
But yeah, Robert specifically is actually very literate because Robert runs the book club on our Discord server, the actual book club. So if you are interested in that, join the Patreon. You get access to our server that has book club and movie night and all that stuff. We just released an episode on, can you say the title for me, Carter?
Yispis Fagsel is the official government pronunciation. Yeah.
You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love by Olivia Rodrigo. We do monthly special drops, and it really does make a difference. It helps us. All that money just goes back into producing this podcast. So we really appreciate the support. Blah, 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 blah. Carter, can you give us a brief introduction back into the world of Egyptian mythology and how this world that we're entering into with Book 2 of Kane Chronicles differs from the realm of Percy Jackson?
Yes. So, as conceived by Rick Riordan, the Egyptian mythology situation is the biggest departure from all of the other things that he has written. I like substantially further afield from the Greek stuff than the Norse mythology books of Magnus Kane and friends. Magnus Kane? What am I talking about? Magnus Kane.
Ooh.
So the magic system we're working with here is built on these fundamental ideas of order and chaos, mediated through language, through both written script, spoken words, as a way of ordering the universe in accordance with your ideas. That's part of it, that it is witchier. It is more about creation and about fabrication and a craft than it is about fights or endurance or a quest or these other more kind of traditional hero's journey elements. We also don't have demigods, as you might remember in this. There is some, I believe we have said at length, unnecessary discussion of the blood of the pharaohs, but that's not really what our magic system is based around. It's about this kind of personal, individual relationship to one of the gods with whom you are kind of channeling, you are copying their ways, and in the most extreme forms, you are hosting them, you are sharing a body, synchronizing yourself with these kind of traditions and ideas, and in this book, they're going to describe in a slightly different way what the path of the gods looks like, independent from the phenomenon of hosting a god and maybe jockeying for control of your one human life with a primordial divine force of motherhood or magic or warriorism or what have you.
Specifically, the whole blood quantum thing is something that is silly because it could literally just be cut from the books and the books would play out the same way. So it's something that
so easy to cut it and just say, oh, these kids are special because they read a lot of books, or they were in a certain place when an obelisk exploded, or what have you, because most
or they're
of
like energetically connected to the forces of chaos and the calmness in the universe and have some kind of like empathetic connection to the balance of the world, and that's how they get called, which I have to assume that in any future adaptation, Foment, they could literally just trim this very easily.
There is currently one of the biggest anime that is airing right now is called Witch's Hat Atelier, and there's a lot of similarity in the magic system in that they have like a secret society of witches, but they are not distinguishable by blood at all. Like it's basically just like a big secret that if you write fancy, then you can make things happen in the world that are abnormal. And that is basically exactly what is being described here. Literally. If you cut the blood quantum 2 lines here and there out of each of these books, where it is basically like, oh, you know, like some people have families who tell them about this, and so they have a head start. But like really, anyone who thinks a lot about powerful words and about the balance of order and chaos in the universe will be able to maybe form one of these special relationships with one of the gods and make it happen.
On page 11 of our selected reading for today, it says, Egyptian mythology was all about turning words and pictures into reality. I thought that was a very succinct way of phrasing it. If you can write fancy, you can do magic. And also, if you can wear linen, you can do magic. More on that.
More on that.
I feel like forgot about that or totally skipped over it in the first place when we were reading the Red Pyramid, how important it is. Like, magicians have to wear linen.
I mean, they don't have to wear linen. They should
to use
their magic. They
should. Uniform.
However, try telling that to Sadie Kane.
Yeah, exactly. She wants to have a leather jacket and combat boots on, no matter the weather. We also, let me rephrase that. I will just be super honest and say I've never read this book. I am almost positive that I have not read this book. I'm I think
I was just about to check in with you about that.
I never made it past Red Pyramid. If I did, it doesn't really make a difference because I have zero recollection of what the rest of the series is about. So,
so to level set, will we in these conversations?
Am I the dumb one? Am I the newest throne?
Are you the newest fire? Yeah. Ooh.
Am I the newest linen outfit? Possibly.
Y'all are trendsetters. You're the first Percy Jackson podcast
to ever do this.
To ever do this, where one of you hasn't read the book, but the other one has. Revolutionary.
We're actually the first podcast, period, to do this. I'm not going to come in like a fool, though. Like I my goal is to
Erica uses Wikipedia.
Yeah, I use Riordanverse.wiki or whatever. I'll try to be read up. I'll be making predictions. I wrote down Chekhov's 10 to 12 minutes of extreme focus. That's definitely going to come back later. Like, we'll keep making predictions about the plot, but anything I say could be proven wrong because I am also not reading ahead.
Okay, this is a good note. I will tap into my trapdoor, whatever they talk about over there, like mentality then, and we'll keep it at whatever is covered in this set of chapters, and let me not preemptively invoke tropes that are being invoked that are not confirmed until later on in the book series.
Yeah, I think like not like a super intense trapdoor. It's not like a quick pull, but in general, like I want us to be able to talk about the themes, like the overarching themes and the overarching tropes and types, but maybe without just saying like explicitly where it's going, because I'm sure some people are also reading this book along with us, and we're all the dumb ones. So yay for learning together. Okay, so that's a little bit of Egyptian mythology and setting, and more specifically for our characters. I think I forgot that like we're sort of at this like insane overpowering by the end of the Red Pyramid, and we have basically nerfed ourselves so that we can have a real plot. So at the end of the Red Pyramid, our kids, Carter and Sadie, let go of their really close relationship as like avatars of Horus and Isis and decided to go back to learning magic sort of the manual way, because that much power was too dangerous, they say at the beginning of the book. All magic comes with a price. This is almost like a very anti-power story. Wow, what a shocker for Rick Riordan to write an anti-power story. But that's where we're going into this. Even though we like achieved incredible things last book, we like literally no longer can do 90% of what we did in the last book now.
Should we do a 20-second recap of the last book, also just a level set?
For me, yes.
Book 1, as is common for Rick Riordan, is kind of not really about the primary plot engine or villain of the book series. We have a fake villain, Set, who we are trying to overcome because he has kidnapped our dad. And at the end of the book, we are kind of able to overcome Set, but spoiler, psych, he was not the true villain. It turns out this whole time, he was just kind of our wacky uncle who was lightly being puppeteered by the snake of chaos from beyond. And now the rest of this book series is going to be about figuring out what we're going to do about the snake of chaos from beyond, now that our father is solidly dead, willingly, to plan, to reinvigorate the, way of the gods and the path of life and all of that. And we might also be seeing the uncle again, but it's not really his story. And we've let go of the gods that we're hosting. And now we are going to be trying to figure out what the path of the gods looks like without just being fully melded with the gods, which also means that we left off in the last book with this call to action in the second person, saying all of this was a cassette recording that you've heard because you are special and you need to come join us and learn from us, and we're going to have a whole crew doing this new thing that hasn't been done for thousands of years. Which
also,
is where we pick up.
Carter's girlfriend turned into clay and shattered in front of him, which broke his heart.
Yes. It is super important to refresh on what the two romances are. Carter was into the precocious first in command girl who was a little bit mean, a little bit of a slayer, bangs and a bob, but actually she was a clay doll the whole time. So maybe we're going to find out what was going on with the real person from the clay doll. And Sadie was flirting on and off with the jackal-headed god Anubis of embalming. And more on that.
But apparently he hasn't texted her back for the last 3 months. Uh-oh. Let's visit the warning reading because it's fun and we love a framing device. This is a transcript of an audio recording. Carter and Sadie Kane first made themselves known in a recording I received last year, which I transcribed as The Red Pyramid. The second audio file arrived at my residence shortly after that book was published, so I can only assume the Kanes trust me enough to continue relaying their story. If this second recording is a truthful account, the turn of events can only be described as alarming. For the sake of the Kanes and for the world, I hope what follows is fiction. Otherwise, we are all in very serious trouble.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun! These books do have a sort of like edgier, less clean
Yes.
feeling about them. Like they feel much more underground than Percy Jackson does, especially because, as you pointed out in our outline, Carter, Percy Jackson loses the framing device immediately. We do not revisit the kind of direct address. You are reading this because you might be a half-blood, but Rick sticks to his guns with the Kane Chronicles.
There's the second person, and there's also the two of them arguing with each other at the on the margins as they're telling the story, which is my favorite narrative device.
Truly, truly, the best way to read this book is the audiobook because you get the proper experience of listening to the two voice actors portray these two characters.
And do each other's accents, which is really
fun. And do each other's accents. Yes, that is the fun part.
I also have the audiobook downloaded, but I did read these first 4 chapters, so I haven't touched it yet. And there is a reference in the Carter chapter to Sadie slowly losing her accent because she's been in the States for a bit now. Does the audiobook narration reflect that at all? Or are we still going full Charlie XCX?
I didn't notice any change or difference in the acting, but maybe it's just I wasn't focusing. I also haven't listened to the Red Pyramid audiobook in God knows how long.
I look forward to being the judge of that. So we pick back up in Carter's perspective, the chapter Fun with Spontaneous Combustion. And most of these first 4 chapters is set up for the adventure ahead, but we do jump right into the action, which I appreciate. It reminds me a little bit of when we jump into The Last Olympian with Beckendorf and Percy already on this sabotage mission, and we're right in the middle of a heist at the beginning of this chapter, trying to get into the Brooklyn Museum because Horace maybe vaguely suggested it. After waiting for information for a while, he said, maybe you want to go get that statue that's about to be shipped off.
Listeners may recall that a heist at the Brooklyn Museum is incidentally also the way that Pose, the legendary FX TV show, begins. In their case, they are stealing an Elizabethan costume exhibition to win a ball. But if you want something to help you visualize what all is going on, it's a heist at the Brooklyn Museum after they close.
It's pretty direct.
It's a great 5-minute sequence.
I totally forgot that was the pilot of Pose. There's also a really fun... Where is this? Is this in Carter's? Oh, yeah. There's an interesting line in this first chapter from Carter where he talks about, quote, all the artifacts seemed like family mementos once they get into the museum. And he's saying that specifically because they have been on this adventure over the past few months where he knows that his family is personally connected to these artifacts based on his father now being the god of the dead and everything. But that just felt like that sentence really stood out to me in particular of the horrors of museums and why things are in museums. And I feel like that's something that the Kane Chronicles really taps into. I mean, the first book also began in a museum with us taking an artifact. I always appreciate museum shade.
It's true.
We also have 2 new characters who we briefly introduce in these first 4 chapters, Jazz and Walt. Jazz is a blonde cheerleader from Nashville. She's our healer. She's our cleric, basically. She's here to do healing stuff. And then we have Walt, who is only character description is absolutely massive. And also might also be biracial, not specified.
I did not follow where that was coming from.
Him also being half black, half white. They describe his skin color as being very close to Carter's.
Also, that's not entirely true. They also say he's 14 years old. That's very important.
There's some other stuff. He's an amulet maker. He's from Seattle. He doesn't wear linens. He doesn't talk that much.
He doesn't wear linens. He wears sleeveless hoodies.
I feel like we have a sense for that this will be an interesting person who we are not going to actually be meeting in the first 4 chapters, which is fine.
This is also for me the funniest reminder that Carter Kane is like the most straight out of Rick's protagonists, because Percy or Magnus would have absolutely leaned into referring to Walt
His
as hot in some way.
biceps, yeah,
Yeah.
protruding from
Meanwhile,
his
Carter's
sleeveless.
Carter
like-
specifically says, I'm not going to call him hot in the narration to
Yeah.
Sadie out the
Yeah.
side. And
Magnus
why not?
Magnus and Percy, they would be fawning over him. Percy in, I guess, a straight way, quote unquote. But
So true.
Carter, no.
So true. Yeah, and it's
Carter
also
has no
growing
problem telling us in these first 2 chapters who he's not into. And I
maybe a little overcompensating.
maybe it's a little overcompensating. I feel like there's something so that these first chapters do such a good job of reminding us that there's like something extra teenagery and extra, I think, like you were saying, grungy, messy. Maybe it's that Sadie is secretly Charlie XCX. I don't know. There's something in the water.
There's
of these
something very
books.
subtextually brat, wouldn't you say?
There's something brat going on. They're like thinking about relationships a lot. They're making a lot of things that aren't about potential relationships, in fact, about potential relationships. And Rick is pulling those things to the fore in these ways that don't, like, their heist is immediately kind of thwarted by the fact that there's a wedding happening for us to constantly describe the details of in the background. Carter's descriptions of all of these new people in some way are invoking whether or not we should expect any existing characters to have relationships with them in the future.
As
Sadie. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
I guess we're not quite at the wedding stuff yet, but as someone who is looking for a venue for a wedding in the city, the idea of how, like, the concept of how much it would cost to rent out the
Money.
Brooklyn Museum after hours terrifies me.
I'm sure it's a fab wedding. Like,
Oh, bless. If you got the money to do it, you got the money to do it. I'm trying to do my wedding as cheap as I possibly can.
That's actually why we brought Robert here. Their personal identity overlap with these chapters is that they are seeking a wedding venue in New York City. Care to comment on the specificity of that? Also, Sadie very clearly has like a crush on Walt, which comes up explicitly in her chapters, or at least she says she does. And I just think that's like we're saying, the brat of it all, the like lots of explicit relationship conversation. Part of me wants to be like, oh, Rick, like the only thing on a 12-year-old girl's mind is not just every boy around her and having a crush on her, but also isn't it? And I do think that there's something so deliciously authentic about being like, well, now there's this other guy within 3 feet of me. And I think I'm going to have a little crush on him, but not too much because I'm his teacher, just to pass the time, you know? And there's so much iPod content in these first 4 chapters. We have Sadie like with her wired headphones in, breaking into the museum. We have Sadie actively listening to 19 by Adele.
The true spirit of these books, I think, is summarized by Sadie having her earbuds in, playing music as they're doing the heist, and Carter having to yank one of the earbuds out and repeat his instructions into her ear as they're actively in the process of doing this heist. That's the magic of these books. Who can relate?
Yeah, and we're jumping around. We're doing more like thematic touchstones as opposed to like beat by beat through these 4 chapters. But the part where she is literally listening to 19 by Adele, and she's like, oh, this reminds me of my youth 3 months ago. That's so real. She's like, God, I'm so nostalgic for 3 months ago. Like, I haven't listened to this song for 3 months. Robert, this is so you. And then she's like, now I'm thinking about Anubis while I'm listening to this song. And now I'm thinking about Walt. And then she's like, let me listen to the next song. And then she's like, oh, are all these songs about boys? That's so annoying. And then she turns it off.
Which they're not. Like, that was kind of an unnecessary sideswipe at Adele. 19 has several different things going on. Hometown Glory, you know, anyway.
Yeah, I just feel that like on the quarter standing on its side, you know, the narrow teetering balancing act of chaos and calm and also stereotypical 12-year-old girl and the true authenticity of a 12-year-old girl. Like, this is just perfectly standing on the edge. Like, it is balancing perfectly. Sadie,
would you do this thing as a child where you would fully have your headphones in and be listening to music as you're like doing a group activity?
Me personally, yes, because ADHD.
I don't know. I mean, I distinctly recall Carter like always having music playing out loud while studying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Group activity. I just feel like we weren't allowed to do that at school, though, is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
The question wasn't were you allowed to? The question was, did you do it? I stuck my iPod Nano into school and I listened to it while like the teacher was talking or while we were doing work. Like,
Yes, exactly.
Well, as we're breaking into the museum, there's also some commentary on magic making everything more complicated. Again, very anti-magic power, like shortcuts. This is a story about magicians, but they are not seeing magic as something that is like necessarily improving their lives, which is a unique perspective.
I want to make a joke about how magic is like AI, but no, at least magic is useful.
I think there's definitely a connection you could draw there for sure. We're here to steal a statue that we come to find out is a statue of Khnum, and Sadie kind of puts the pieces together that it's not the statue that they need, but it's actually like she manages to touch the scarab and get the magic scroll out, which we come to find out is 1/3 of the scroll that is needed to awaken Ra. Quick reminder on who Ra is versus Apophis, Carter.
Ra is the sun god, which is different from the sun disk, which is also a deity in Egyptian mythology. Ra is throughout most of Egyptian history the most important god. He's the king of the gods, manifestation of the spirit of the sun. He crosses the sky in his boat every day, and then by night he goes into the Duat, the sea of magic that underlies everything, and fights Apophis the chaos snake and is reborn. And that is the mythic metaphor they have for the day-night cycle in Egypt. He also is frequently described as having the head of like an eagle, bird of prey. That's Ra. Ra in these books, you may remember, was getting old and wanted to retire, and that was the impetus of all of this, that he retreated from life and he tried to make Bast and Apophis kind of get locked up together in a void and slowly destroy each other. And the fact that that wasn't working out is the kind of starting place for the events of the book. That we have to rescue Bast and we have to kill Apophis the old-fashioned way with Ra. So we're going to wake him up.
Wake it
up. In particular, it is an interesting tie-in to the 3 scrolls of the Book of Ra that we are invoking here, Khnum Ra, which is supposed to be one of the I shouldn't say Trinity, because this predates that, but one of these ideas of there being like a triptych, 3 forms of Ra, where one of them is Khnum, one of them is Ra proper, and then one of them is, I've already forgotten the name, but the Scarab Beetle of Dawn.
Because this is morning, noon, and night, the 3 phases. Yeah.
Yes. There is a very fascinating set of articles that one could read about this. Ra, I think that like different civilizations have had different amounts of like being upfront with you about the marriage of like politics and history with their religious practices, and Egypt was like one of the ones that was relatively towards the like we're just going to tell it like it is side, where lots of places would be like, oh, Ra is actually a merged deity with whatever the local deity was here 1,000 years ago. So there's a lot of like hyphen Ra temples and depictions and stuff that exist. So this is one of them, and Khnum also has this other interesting history of being like a Middle Egyptian representation of the Nile's floods, which are of course the kind of like economic agricultural engine of the region.
Right.
Anyway, lots that is not touched on in the book. He's a guy with a ram's head. The statue kind of reveals the scroll, and when Sadie goes to grab it, chaos ensues.
Do you hear that? Sounds like breakfast is ready. Because Quaker's coming in hot with morning nutrition. 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber to fuel the rhythm of your morning and kickstart your day. And that sounds absolutely delicious. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
This episode is brought to you by Perfect Bistro Cat Food. cats, this ad is for you. Has your human ever called you picky, persnickety, choosy? If so, Perfect Bistro cat food is for you. With ingredients like wild-caught tuna and pasture-raised lamb, tantalizing textures, and delectable flavors that meet even the most discerning cat standards. You're not picky, you're just perfectionists. Perfect Bistro, mealtime perfection for every cat. Have your human visit perfectbistro.com.
This summer, soccer is here, and so are the watch parties. And Uber Eats has your game day essentials covered with 30% off orders from Aldi, Kroger, and Dollar General. Everything you need to keep your crowd happy, delivered straight to your door. Chips, dips, fresh ingredients, and more. Order in so you can lock in for the games. 30% off your grocery order, only on Uber Eats for a limited time.
Really excellent mixture of showing and then also explicitly telling this dynamic between Carter being the cool, calm, collected force and Sadie being the force of chaos in these first few chapters.
Yeah, cool, calm, collected.
Anxiety.
But also like naggy on the sidelines, being like something bad might happen if you do that, and Sadie just doing it.
Anxiety v mania, two different sides of the ADHD quarter standing on its edge with the two siblings. And Sadie, because she's impulsive and she doesn't always think before she acts, she grabs a scroll and it unleashes these monsters. We've got a griffin. We've got a bunch of fiery white creatures that are revealed are Bao, or the 7 arrows of Sekhmet, the plague goddess. And because this is the book about balance, and they note this in particular, in order to summon the plague spirits and send them back to the Duat, we have to actually invoke the power of Sekhmet herself. So you would think that it is like actually a different, like we need to invoke the power of a healer, but instead we are invoking the power of Sekhmet herself, the plague goddess, to put the plague spirits back into the Duat.
Which, I mean, that there's some parallel to that in medicine, where like a lot of cures and treatments for diseases or for ailments derived from studying and like essentially taking the disease or ailment and turning it into the cure.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
for sure.
Yeah.
And this is where we're starting to get to know the trainees a little bit more. Like I feel like we really got thrown in the deep end with them, where we've described them very lightly, but it's not presented as like a whole thing. The information about them kind of gets doled out slowly. And this is where we find out that Jazz, one of our 2 trainees, the healer, is specifically a follower of Sekhmet. This is our kind of first glimpse into what the path of the gods looks like outside of Carter and Sadie, who have had this unique experience of being tossed in the deep end, hosting them before studying them. Whereas Jazz presumably is not going about things that way. This is someone who's like studied and like read some books, and this is kind of like the most intense experience that she and Walt, our other trainee, are having with all of this magic for the first time. She also like immediately basically like knocks herself unconscious as a part of winning this battle for them, which I feel like the clip of these first 2 chapters is very is impressive. Like a lot of these books, there's so much time set aside for reminding, and there is some reminding, or like sort of ratcheting it up more by telling than by showing, I guess. Yes. Whereas with this one, there's like a very showy, immediately like this person who we basically just met is incapacitated because we need to establish new stakes.
And there's a thread that is not resolved in these 4 chapters for today, where there's definitely something going on between Jazz and Walt. Not romantically, although there is also something potentially romantically going on. They're whispering to one another about something that Carter and Sadie don't know about, and Jazz gives Sadie a little wax figure of Carter, saying that she's going to need it, which is something that will be used to like help heal him. So clearly we know that something is coming that is going to put Carter in great physical danger.
And as Sadie later herself says, it's like Carter's fate is being put in her hand.
Yes, literally. Ooh, delicious.
I think we need more Carter drama. I felt, to go back to our book 1 coverage, it did feel like Sadie was given so much, so much intrigue, so much juice, and I think we need to we need to maybe rebalance that a little bit in this book. And this feels like a good first step towards that.
Yeah.
Carter's in danger.
Carter's in danger, presumably because Carter's going to do something to try to go rescue real Zia from, quote, the Red Sands.
Which
the place
we're
of Red
also
Sand.
Immediately thrown back into. Yes,
The voice of Set, right?
Presumably.
Not explicitly named, but presumably the voice of Set coming to Carter to say, hey, I know you have this quick timeline you're on. You need to get you need to resurrect Ra by the spring equinox, which is in 5 days. But also, if you don't get to Zia, real Zia, she's going to disappear forever. So presumably Carter is going to go try to rescue real Zia, and something awful is going to happen to him, and Sadie's going to have to find a way to heal him. Bum, bum, bum. Many opposing forces. I'm excited about the plot of this book.
Yeah. We're going to have side quests. We're going to have realer romantic stakes for Carter. I feel like I like the idea of them as a couple, but I feel like we got a little shortchanged on that in book 1, partially because of the whole Shabti thing, but also partially just because I don't know, like there wasn't really that much tension other than like, we're rushing, we have to do other things, so we can't spend too much time with you having like midnight conversations together in the underground of Cairo. And now there's trouble
in Little Cairo, if you will. There's also a delicious little dose of not everything is quite black and white with Set in this brief conversation with Carter, where Carter's like, you're a demon deceiver and I can't trust anything you say. And Set is like, hey, now we've met. Am I? Question mark, which I really appreciate. It's a family story.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Carter's situation.
He also has a new griffin that is his pet now. It seemed like it was attacking them, and now it seems like it is maybe going to be an indefinite mascot helper situation.
I love a squawk. I love a squawker. I love a bird friend. I love a familiar. More of those. Can't get enough Khufu, personally.
I love looking now at the Egyptian griffins, right?
Right.
Yes.
Because this is different than the only other time we've seen griffins in the Rider universe, which I think are those griffins at the safe house in do I remember Trials of Apollo's book?
The train station?
Different one. It's book 2.
The way
the
station.
Train station in Indianapolis.
The way station.
But they appear in multiple, like they're also in the Son of Neptune as like an attacking force.
Right. Yes.
If you click on this article that's in the outline about the history of griffins and their sort of journey throughout different ancient civilizations, it ends by mentioning the Son of Neptune, actually. So that is why I remember,
as opposed to
inclusion.
The best Trials of Apollo book, the second one, which the name I can't remember off the top of my head. It's
the zoo one, the one with the less important middle triumvirate emperor.
It's Hidden Oracle, it's Burning Maze. What's the middle one? Dark Prophecy. There we go.
Sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I found out reading this article that griffins are apparently that the origin story of them is from like modern day Iran, and that they were seen by a lot of these different civilizations around Europe and Egypt as like they were like orientalized. Basically, they were seen as like these demons from the eastern edge that were beyond comprehension and guarding these treasures that didn't even exist in the real modern world or whatever. They're like at the edge of the world. So I don't know. I think the concept of saying like these griffins are different is funny because they're all different. That was kind of the whole gag, is that they're all supposed to be orientalized. But you know, we can visualize them differently in a more Egyptian way with that information.
Yeah. That's Carter's deal. He has a pet griffin now, who's very different. Just like him. Aww. As we go into Sadie's perspective, we get to hear Sadie describe Carter now versus Carter 3 months ago, which is my favorite part of these books, is getting their character development from the perspective of the other one as we go on. I think I wrote down the page number here, if I can find it. Page 52. After 6 years of homeschooling and traveling with Dad, Carter had been hopelessly out of touch. He dressed like a junior executive this is getting worse as I go along. He dressed like a junior executive in crisp white shirts and slacks. Now at least he'd learned to wear jeans and t-shirts and the occasional hoodie. He let his hair grow out in a curly mess, which looked much better. If he kept on improving, the boy might even get a date someday.
I feel like as you were trying to lock in harder, it veered out of Charlie into like an Emma Watson.
That is genuinely where I go when I need help with my British accent, is I try to think devil's snad what I do in my head. Anyway, shout out to Carter for looking less homeschooled. What a sisterly thing to say.
He's got to look less homeschooled so that he has a real shot with real Zia.
I don't know. As someone whose type is homeschooled, do whatever you need, Carter.
I don't know that her description sounds like a positive direction to me. And it also is I think it's a good reminder that her perspective on it's a fun limitation on her perspective to say that khakis and button-down shirts are what a junior executive would wear.
I mean, yeah, because she's punk AF.
Yeah, she doesn't know these things. She's 12, and good for her. That it's a nice detail when Sadie doesn't know things and is trying to be a bad influence on her older sibling.
Basically, it's Sadie's birthday, and she pissed.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Sadie. She's pissed off that she has to work and very self-aware of the fact that people are going to say it's selfish of her to be pissed off about the fact that she has to save the world on her birthday. But this is all leading up to her trip that she is going to take and teleport herself to her grandpa and grandma's house for her birthday, the night and into the morning that she is having at the Brooklyn house, where there are now 20 new magicians in training. We thought it was just Walt and Jazz. It is not. There's kids of all ages, little kids older than Carter and Sadie, which is also
international
fun.
Folks also. That was a fun shout out. Cleo's from Rio.
Specifically,
we're not limited to the
Brazil.
flame of Western civilization, in case you forgot in these books. We have,
in case you forgot, the power of Leah Savay Jeffries in Brazil. We have many Percy Jackson fans in Brazil. Shout out Brazil.
Shout out Brazil.
They will come.
They have come to Brazil and they will come again. We have this delicious sequence of listening to 19 by Adele.
Yeah.
She has a drawing of Anubis in her closet.
This was so funny to me. This is the funniest detail in these books, that she has all these photographs.
The juxtaposition.
Because it's the 21st century of her friends, one of her family, and then she has an ancient drawing of the jackal-headed god Anubis because it helps her to remember the day that she went on. That is so funny and it's so Tumblr core to me. There is something about having a drawing of your crush who you're also kind of dating that is invoking like a self-insert fic type of
oh my
tea.
God.
Do you know what I mean?
I was gonna be like, what realm of Tumblr are you in? And then you spoke more and I'm like, oh yes, no, I'm very familiar with this realm.
It's like the boy band Your Name core thing. I feel like there's like a Spider-Man-ness also to this idea of having a crush on someone whose access to you is predominantly mediated through their public persona. I don't know.
Totally.
I find this very delightful. There are a lot of good tropes that we're getting into here. She makes a joke as she's in the dream part of this also about the concept of taking the call from her potential dream because she thinks it might be Anubis inviting her to sit around and loiter in a cemetery together.
Oh, to be a tween again.
She's a teen now. She just turned 13.
That's true.
Grown.
She turns 13 like today, right?
Yeah. It's that old like 2000s movie thing of like, Mom, I'm 13 years old. I'm a grown up basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is Tumblr. It's also like Urban Outfitters girl core. She has a cassette recorder also in her room. She has from her grandparents.
Cassette recorder that she used to dictate the first book. This is I had forgotten this level of diegeticism, which is like not a real notification, also not really the right word. It's just a word that we use as people who think about music and media more than other people. But the tape recorder on which they did the audio recording exists within the universe, and it's just sitting around and she's commenting on it, being in her room.
Unified
I find that so
device.
Delicious. And she's like ahead of the curve here. This was what year is this? 2010? Like this is the era of true iPods. We had not yet reached around to the retro cassette tapes yet, except for her. Her finger was on the pulse. She knew it was coming. She was the Urban Outfitters before the Urban Outfitters. Power to her. She then has this dream sequence that is helping us to align all the rest of our setup. We round out the chapter with this little dream sequence that is kind of lining up all the rest of the pieces about what all we're going to have to do in this book and who is going to be fighting us and doing those things. We are in the Hall of Pharaohs, where the head magician, Desjardins, is sitting and brooding and being French and annoying and thinking about how these children are ruining the course of history, when he is interrupted by someone who is in the world of the books an even more eviler Europeaner villain to ramp us up.
Vlad from Russia!
Who looks like an ice cream man.
The concept of Vladimir from Russia who has thick frog in his voice and physical deformations around his eyes is so
2012 was a different time.
yeah. It feels like Indiana Jones. It feels like
It's feeling like sepia tone.
yeah. Like the era where you know he's the villain when he walks on screen because he talks like this.
Also, he's from Russia.
Also, he's from Russia. His name's Vlad.
Yeah.
I was okay with it when it was a French guy. This time, I think I'm still okay with it, but like, you do have to a little bit be like, oh, that was a different time. Oh, I don't. Do you remember literally when they rebooted Indiana Jones at roughly this year, and the villain was Cate Blanchett, the Russian,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
trying to steal for the USSR the secrets of Mesopotamia? Not Mesopotamia. They were in Mexico, right? It was like an Aztec alien god thing where she goes, I want to know, and she like gets vaporized. Different time. And that I feel like is the cultural milieu. It's 50% Cate Blanchett, 50% Darth Vader. Is this
Cate
this
Blanchett
man.
would be a shoo-in for the role of Vlad from the Russian gnome.
She would
in season
eat
2.
down as Vlad.
Yes. She
With,
could do a
like,
thing where she
heavy
plays
eye
both
prosthesis.
Vlad and Desjardins, but in like different ways.
And Raw. And Bass.
And Raw. And Bast. I don't think she's doing Bast. But she could do all the other ones. Anyway, yeah, Vlad probably, this isn't what we learn in the dream, but we learn it at breakfast the next morning that Vlad probably has the next scroll that we need to complete the scroll of Ra.
I have
the
a
Book of
hang up
Ra.
with this breakfast scene
Mhm.
because
Oh.
we get in this scene confirmation that Khufu has just been introduced to the wonderful world of Jello. Now, opinions of Jello aside, it's also noted that he is eating Jello and he's putting various fruits and nuts into the gelatin or into the Jello. I would like to be like, what are the rules, Khufu? Because you're saying you can only eat foods that end with O, but clearly you're putting nuts and fruits that don't end in O inside the Jello, and it counts.
Pistachios.
He's a messy bitch.
Mangoes. I've run out.
He's a
I've run
force
out
of
temporarily.
chaos. I don't think
What
he's
are-
playing by the rules.
Are these self-imposed rules or are the magical rules of this world bullshit? I need
I've
to
always
know.
assumed that he was just picky. He was just being a diva.
And I think that Sadie is equally being a diva by saying that he only eats foods ending in O, when that's probably not even his shtick.
Well, okay, yes. It's chapter 4. What is this called? A Birthday Invitation to Armageddon. This is the most actual Brat moment, and this was the most I've been. We're always in lockstep with Sadie, but this moment where she was like, I know everyone's gonna hate me, but I'm sorry, like I have to fight for my birthday. I just feel like I know her. Like I deeply know this
Iconic.
girl. She's been
Take
planning
your
it.
day off. Take your day off. She wants to see her friends.
Yes. And this whole chapter is really, I mean, like, everything about this is, I think, trying to catch us up on the responsibility in her life juxtaposed against who she still is, which is a now just barely 13-year-old child who hasn't seen her friends in several months. Like, it's both her being like, I'm having a lot of emotional reactions that I feel unbalanced about, and I need to recenter myself because a lot of these are happening for the first time, but also her being like, dang, I almost put on my work uniform this morning because I was supposed to go teach class for 20 people.
Nope. It's my birthday.
And I need to fight for my time off at like a big work meeting in front of all of my students. And as we're also strategizing for Armageddon, as is referred to in the chapter title.
I don't think we've also mentioned, but Amos is back. He's back from therapy. He did it.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Amos,
that he
our
was
fave.
really, really sad at the end of the last book, and now he seems to be doing better.
I mean, that's
Yay.
one way
Deeply
to-
like physiologically unwell.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he suffered severe trauma from Set manipulating him and controlling him, but yeah, he was really sad about that.
Yeah, and Sadie mentions when Amos is trying to calm everybody down at the breakfast table while also simultaneously explaining Armageddon. Quote, Amos modulated his tone, making it calm and reassuring for our trainees. He projected such composure, even I felt a little less terrified. I wondered if this was a kind of magic, or if he was just better at explaining Armageddon than I was.
Yeah, so
I got there in
Sadie,
the
the
end. Sorry, I
magic.
forgot.
So Sadie, the magic is therapy. He went to therapy, and we love a man who goes to therapy.
That, and also I felt like it was such a neat little sentence for Sadie to observe at the same time of in the same chapter as her having like a big selfish
Yeah,
I'm putting my foot down moment.
I think part of his therapy and part of it is just like he's an actual adult and she's not.
She's not. And also that I mean, me making a prediction for her arc that like that is like that being something that she is drawn to and admires, that leadership quality that she does not have in this moment, like because she is impulsive and a little bit manic and just a 13-year-old girl, she does not command that kind of presence. But that might be something that like she one day wants to be, that kind of adult who can be like a force in the room and something that can command everybody with that kind of special kind of magic, which I like that we have those conflicting opposing forces in this one chapter of, yeah, I'm selfish, whatever. And also, wow, wouldn't it be great one day to grow up and be somebody who can make other people feel better just by your presence.
We should also mention that Amos isn't just talking about Armageddon abstractly. Sadie's dream also involved them planning to specifically attack this house where they have the 20 trainees. And part of what Amos is doing is also saying, when they show up here and try to kill you all, we're fine. We got it handled. I fought these people before. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bast can't join us to go on this quest for the Book of Ra or anything because she needs to go down and check on Apophis. But she is going to send us a friend from the Duat to help us on our way. So we're going to meet a new character coming up soon.
I love how Sadie is like, the word friend is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Like she notices the pause that Bast gives before saying friend. And she's like, what do we mean? Like a friend or like a friend?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be something Sadie would think. And then she goes to London, but of course it's a trap. And she is going to be in some deep biscuits at the start of our next chapter. That is the first 4 chapters of The Throne of Fire. We will be going, ideally, 4 chapters a week, if we can keep it up consistently for the next 6 weeks. Robert, would you like to promote anything before we get off here?
Yeah, if you want to listen to me in the podcast sphere, I have the podcast I've been doing for a long time, The Bits, with my friend Charlie. We talk about Steven Universe. And then recently, as I mentioned the last time I was here 6 years ago, aka 5 months, I started a podcast with my friends Camille and Mal. It was initially called The Pit Crew, where we covered just the HBO medical drama The Pit. And then we got bored and introduced a side show called The Puck Crew, where we talked about the Crave original TV series Heated Rivalry and also subsequently the books that it's based off of. And that blew up. So hi, if you want to hear me talk about that, I do it. Please be at least 18 years old to listen to this podcast.
Fantastic. Excellent. I also say, planting the seeds. We don't have a specific date yet, but we will be having a live Percy Jackson podcast collaborating improv show where we will be doing Greek mythology centered improv comedy with several of your favorite Percy Jackson podcasters. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. We'll be posting more of dates and stuff on our social media as they arrive. So make sure you're following us wherever you can. Thank you, Robert, for joining us.
Of course.
We're so happy to be literate again, and we will see you guys next week for chapters 5 through 8. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.